Return, please return.
Let's talk about real life issues, love and relationships. Let's have a good time with the missus. Yeah. Celebrities. Let's talk about caring events. Let's talk about things you don't see on regular TV. So join in on PGT time. PGT time. Tune in on PGT time. PGT time. Come join us on PGT time. PGT time. Join us on PGT time. PGT time. Yeah.
In order for y'all to do what God is calling y'all to do, to take y'all platform for it to plateau and it can go to levels that you never seen, don't best believe it's gonna come with devils.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. But I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Hey, here we are, back to the beginning. I feel like we finished. You feel like I'm tripping. I let you in before, so now you wanna know the difference. You got a baby boy now, how you get in? And I don't really feel a way about it, though I had to find out the way I did. You think it didn't matter when it did, like you didn't use every room in the crib. Yeah, the apartment where my ex did live. We was young when we met. I said what I meant. You could have said anything to stop me, but you didn't, so I left. And we never got right. You a psychopath, but I was still right. You take me high, I let you slide through. Then I know I'm here from you for a year or two. Lately you've been acting like you hate me. You don't wanna rush right into dating, but it's been 9 years, why you faking? I get it if you want them in relations for the sake of your creation, but you're a fairy tale, a figment, and you ain't got a lot to kick it. What did I do for you to be so vindictive? You know that I'm the one that you gon' be missing. I guess that I'm the weekday, cause I know I'm not the weekend. I do not appreciate being kept your little secret. I give it to you, oh, you never keep it. Thought I was your number uno, but you played the skit. Skip till we fall, skip till we fall and break. Skip till we fall, skip till we fall and break.
Hey, it's your girl, the missus with the kisses, baby. Mwah. What's goody, y'all? What's goody in the city? I'll do my own hand clap. Yes, I don't even know why I got these on, because I won't be using them tonight. I will not be using my mic, my mixer tonight, because we have one of our guests that's actually on the phone. And in order for them to hear what's going on, I have to have my mixer off. So, welcome, y'all. Welcome. First of all, I know I probably look a little different tonight. I'm sick, a little bit under the weather, the whole family, except for Trey. Trey still been going to school. But I'm not feeling the best. So since I wasn't feeling the best, all y'all gonna get is a little bit of lip gloss, lipstick, just a tad bit, and the earrings. Okay. And plus, I ran out of eyeliner. I told Pooh to hurry up and bring it. He taking forever. But y'all, thank y'all so much for joining. I'm very excited for the show tonight. We are talking about something that's very serious tonight, just as well. Chantel, I am on the show. But we're talking about something very serious tonight. A young man that has been in prison since he was 15 years old. We do have his father and his aunt on the show tonight. So we got a lot we got to talk about. There will be no clips tonight. That's about the only clip that you're gonna get besides our regular commercial. Okay, that's it. That's how you're gonna get tonight. Sorry. But I see we got BG in the building. Hey y'all, hey. We got Carmen in the building. Hey, the Mrs. and Jason. And Carmen said, I could tell. I hope you start feeling better soon. I'm sure everybody can tell. One thing about me, I have one of the memorable voices. Okay. Like I can't do no prank call for nobody. Like even if I tried to switch up my voice, they're gonna be like, the missus, we know that's you. We know that's you. So I apologize, but I could not just cancel the show. You know, the show still goes on regardless. I got my tissue right here. We ain't got no Kleenex. Y'all know how we do things up over here. Hey, Lawrence. He said, feel better, sis. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we also got Mr. Shaheed in the building just as well, baby. We finna turn up tonight, okay? We finna turn up. So I got to bring up my co-host. I can't do it without him. Can I? Nah.
You don't want to. You wouldn't want to. You hear me? You don't want to. That's the thing. Yeah. What up, though? Welcome to PGT Time News Edition here on Wednesday. I see y'all in the building. Everybody, she done shout out it and shout, you know what I'm saying? Said what she said. If y'all ain't do it yet, man, y'all better go do it. I got two things y'all need to go do. First and foremost, go over to YouTube. If you own YouTube, dope. If you're not, go over to YouTube real quick, hit the subscription button. Also, go ahead and hit that bell notification so you can go ahead and get the knowledge that we are up and at it. You hear me? And then lastly, go ahead and see us over on Roku TV. That's right, we on Roku TV. Look us up, PGT Time. That's time spelled with a Y. And we get it in. You hear me? You know what I mean? Come follow what we got going on.
That is time spent with the Y, baby. Go check it out. All you have to do is download the app. When you download the app on Roku TV, you just add it. Once you add it, you don't have to go through downloading it no more. It's already there. Okay? Okay. Now, again, tonight is a very special night. Again, this story will break you. That's what it will do. It will break you down. But, you know, we got to tell it like it is. We got to tell it like it is. And y'all know that's one thing we do over here on PGT Time. We tell it like it is. Okay? So we need to just go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Carlos. Carlos is in the building, baby. All right, now y'all know I ain't got the mixer, so we gotta do our own hand clap. Jason got me. Jason got me. That's what I talk about, Jason.
You gotta excuse me. That was the wrong one.
In the other window. What you say?
I said you gotta excuse me. That was the wrong one. My bad, Carlos. We are not at a party. My bad, brother.
We are not at a party, Jason. Well, Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here. Can you hear us good, Carlos?
Thank you so much for having me and being able to share this information out to the public so they can be aware of things that's going on in our world.
Exactly. And again, my heart goes out to you, goes out to Lamont and your family just as well. But we're gonna see what we can do on here tonight. So if y'all know some attorneys, lawyers, anything, go ahead and tag them right now. Bring them on in. Because we're gonna need some help with this. Because this ain't right. So go on ahead and start tagging, bring people on in. Please share this video. Now is the time to go and start sharing right now. Okay, you got plenty of time. So go start sharing right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our next guest, Mr. Shaheed Omar.
Yes,
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, 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 hey.
Hi. How
All
are
right.
you? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, baby. How about you?
I am wonderful. I'm a little bit under the weather, but you know, the show must go on. It
That's
must
right.
go
That's
on.
right. Weather or no weather. That's right.
Exactly. Jason, you didn't get the chance to meet Mr. Shaheed. Mr.
Yes,
Shaheed,
ma'am.
tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm 73 years old. Just turned 73 in February.
All
Uh,
right.
I run a nonprofit agency called All Inmates Lives Matter. We're located in Virginia. Been doing work since 75. Matter of fact, I walked out of penitentiary in 75 and walked back into penitentiary in 75 as a volunteer.
Wow.
So I'm very much aware of the situations in Virginia and across the country dealing with inmates and ex-offenders trying to find a new way of life.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Well,
phenomenal, man. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for that.
Yes,
definitely.
sir.
Definitely. And welcome to PGT time. The last time I saw you, we was on someone else's platform. So I appreciate you coming over to my platform on this special night. And you're more than welcome to come again in the future. Now we have one more person who is actually on the phone. Her name is Felicia. Felicia, can you hear us?
Yes. Yes,
All
I
right.
can hear.
All right. Now, can you go ahead and just introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, hello, panel. My name is Alicia Hogan. I'm the aunt of Lamont Douglas.
Okay. Jason, are we able to hear her good?
It's decent. It's definitely decent.
Okay. Okay, good, good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started so we can get this ball rolling. Um, let's start with Carlos. Carlos, tell us, let's take this to the beginning. Because everyone that's watching, they are aware that Lamont won't be here tonight, y'all. He's not on the show tonight. But everyone is aware that Lamont has been in prison since the age of 15 years old.
Oh,
He has been in there for 30 years. They are aware of that. So can you take us to the beginning on what happened and how did he get to be in prison?
Well, Lamont was sent to prison from the state of Virginia, and he originally was visiting in Virginia at the time that this incident happened, and so he was actually on vacation, and he was charged with some crimes had already been committed uh, prior to, and once he was picked up, the police somewhat wanted to clear their books of these alleged crimes. So, among questioning other people, his name came up, and he was arrested and charged for some of these crimes. Uh, some, one, he was involved in uh, being around people that he really didn't know, and the others, they were just, I believe, just placed on him, um, being from out of town, uh, coming to Virginia to visit. So this happened about in 1992, um, somewhere in there. So after being picked up uh, at the age of 15, they questioned him and then actually charged him. He was held for, I would say, 4 or 5 days before anyone actually, um, the family knew. And he had gave statements, I believe, or they said he had gave statements incriminating himself. But at the age of 15, I guess, who knows what they questioned him about or what information he gave them. We do not know. So he actually went to court
Hey,
and do,
so Carlos, I have a question.
yeah.
Do is it a can you tell us what happened? Like what caused the charges and for him to go into holding?
I think they were charged with robbery, and there was one robbery where the alleged robbery took place where had to do something with ordering a pizza, and
Okay,
after ordering the pizza, instead of paying for the pizza, they took the pizza and whatever alleged money he had, and so that was one of the crimes that we know about.
okay,
The others, we have no clue, but they were just other alleged robberies that had taken place
gotcha.
in that time frame.
Right, and this is with the two young men, or with the one that's
Uh,
currently
so,
being
several young men, but the only one that was actually singled out was Lamont.
Lamont. Uh-huh. And now, so this occurred. He allegedly they did this, misdemeanor at this time. You know what I mean, or at the moment, but he is now in jail, or he's in custody of law, and they're questioning him without anyone
Any
there to
adult, any
supervise it, right?
attorney.
Right.
That's
So
right.
continue on from there.
hmm And that right there was against the juvenile statutes to question a juvenile without informing the legal guardian and or an adult and or attorney at the time. So after he was charged, they decided to charge him as an adult. Um, Before they did that, they took him to a juvenile hearing and says that he was on his he was an adult and just bound him over as an adult and sent him to an adult detention facility. And he was indicted as such and went to court, circuit court in Fairfax County as an adult and was found guilty of the charges. There were several charges. There was probably maybe four charges, something to do with having a weapon. That was one charge, and they call them counts, count one, count two. So there was one with a weapon. There was one for bodily injury. There was one for the actual uh, robbery, which was taking of the pizza. And so each charge carried a sentence of 20 years. And they ran all those different charges consecutively, meaning they,
Now,
they
one thing,
added up.
okay, so one thing that was not mentioned is that the pizza guy got shot. Okay, the pizza guy got shot, but the pizza guy is still alive. Well, from what we know, he's still alive, but he did not die at that moment. Okay,
No,
so yeah, he did not die
he
at that
was,
moment.
there was an injury. There was a weapon used, and there was an injury, but nobody passed or died from that incident. And that was the only one that we. The other charges of robberies and things that taken place, um, they just had to clear their books up, so they just wanted to add these along with it, so to speak, to make it more serious than what it was. And so he went to trial on this and was found guilty. Keep in mind, nobody could identify him through a lineup. He went through several lineups. No one could identify him. There's no evidence linking him to the crime. Um, the person that was shot couldn't identify him. And so that basically was the total case matter when it was come down to him being at the crime.
Okay.
So
Now, it was other people with him. Now, those people did not spend any time in jail at all.
I'm not sure of
Okay.
the time that those other individuals served. I am sure that they were questioning. They were questioned. I am sure that they um, gave statements to the detectives, but I'm not for sure if anyone served any time.
Okay, okay. Now we do, before you continue on, we do have a comment, and it's up to you if you want to answer it or not. But the person wants to know, hey Carmen, she wants to know, not Carmen, isn't it the Carmen? She wants to know who shot the pizza guy. Are you aware of who shot the pizza guy?
No one was ever identified as shooting the pizza guy.
Okay, so no one ever was identified as shooting the pizza guy. Okay, so he goes talk to the police officers and everything, the detectives rather. No parent was there, no adult as far as with him. So you don't even know what Lamont told these officers, if he even told them anything.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Was there anyone there during the trials? Because I'm sure they had to go through trial and everything. Was any parent, family members, was anybody there during the trials?
Yeah, there were family members at the trial.
Okay, but there just wasn't no one there in the room when it initially happened when they came and picked them up.
There was no one involved for the first, I would say, 10 days of him being picked up, 7 to 10 days. Keep
Wow.
in mind, after he was picked up, they held him maybe for 3 or 4 days before anyone uh, could have any contact.
And
And so,
also keep in mind, you all, he was in another state. He was not in his home state. He's in a whole nother state. So family got to get to the other state, all of that. Okay. So, okay, go ahead, Carlos.
correct. So, yes, so they were at the trial, but the initial time that he was arrested and charged, no one was there uh, for those first, like I mentioned, 7 to 10 days, because it was 3 or 4 days before we even knew. So we don't know what may have taken place as far as him giving information or giving a statement, or who gave statements to either the police or the detectives. We have no information on that, but we do have record statements what the detectives stated, and it doesn't really add up.
Okay. Okay. So once he has gotten charged and sentenced, what did they sentence him to?
It was a total of 90 years. Um, but like I said, each charge carried a 20-year sentence, and there was about 4 charges, and then one charge for the weapon. Um, and so there was the robbery, having the weapon, which was a sawed-off shotgun, and mangling or injuring a person, and the actual um, uh, there's other charges, the malicious wounding. Now, two of those charges are appear to be one and the same. Uh, the robbery and the malicious wounding, and mangling. Mangling means in there was an injury, severe injury, uh, from the use of a firearm.
Okay. Um, what type of child was? Because he was 15 years old, so I'm gonna say child. What type of child was Lamont? Did you guys have a lot of issues with Lamont before he went to Virginia, or was
No,
it
no, no,
just
no.
a 15-year-old child?
Um, Lamont was raised up in a close knit family. Yeah, Lamont was raised up around a community that was a very small community, and he had relatives around a lot. Never a trouble child. Um,
Okay.
Upbringing. It's his first incident ever.
Wow.
The first time ever being in something. First time ever being in uh, uh, some sort of crime, and so he was a sheltered type of child.
Okay.
So for him to be able to leave town and get into something like this, no one could believe it.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So once he got sentenced, what occurred after that? What was some of the struggles and challenges that he dealt with while he was? Because at this time, when he gets sentenced, he's at Red. What's
Facility called Red Onion State
Red
Prison,
Oak? And that's in
and
Virginia.
and that's also in Virginia, but it's for um, people or inmates that has a lot of time or sort of violent, and he was classified to go to Red Onion, and at the age of 15, being in a very hostile environment such as Red Onion, um, we couldn't understand it, but we don't know how the classification board in the institutions work. So once we found out what it was about, we raised questions. We tried to get a lawyer, but they made it seem like the state prisons is an entity all in itself, and you can't um, uh, challenge the institution as to say, well, this is a young juvenile, he shouldn't be there. They're looking at having a person in the institution for 20, 30, 40 years. And so they look at it as if he was a throwaway. And so that's where they placed him. And keep in mind, being 15, with the amount of time that Fairfax County uh, judicial courts gave him, you would think, well, there's no place for me to go. And so, um, of course, being that young, um, he he was pretty um, aggressive when it come to interacting, because you have to be. You're in a
Exactly.
hostile environment, and you have to be hostile to live in that environment.
Exactly. So he skipped the whole juvenile home. Because they tried him as an adult. So he didn't even go to juvenile until he turned what, 18, 21. He literally
He
went
never
15 years old and went straight to general
he
population.
never he never was recognized as a juvenile. When he went to the juvenile hearing, the juvenile court says you are automatically transferred as an adult. And so once he was convicted and they raised the issue about his uh, status being 15 and the juvenile, the court was in error of sending him to a prison at the age of 15. And the appeal courts agreed and um, remanded his case or annulled his case that says you can't do that. We're going to void this sentence and send him back to be annulled or resentenced.
Okay.
And the judicial system took it as if, well, we are the powers that be, and we determine what is uh, what is in error or not in error, and they resentenced him again to the same sentence, and that's what his fight has been ever since.
Okay, I got a question from Mr. Shaheed. Mr. Shaheed, are you still there with us? I see him putting his glasses on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Shaheed. Now you're very familiar with the prison system, the jail system, all of that. Can you let us know how you feel as far as why they did not send him to juvenile first?
He has no business because of the nature of the crime and the people that he was dealing with at the time. He had no business being tried as an adult. Simple as that. But they do what they want to do, you know. But the law is he had no business being tried as an adult because of the nature of the crime. He was an adult. And even after that, being sent to Red Onion, had no business stepping foot inside of a prison like that. They were putting, Virginia has about 30-something institutions where he could have been sent to. And so he had no business being sent to Red Onion. Red Onion was designed as a super max, not even a max, but a super max prison. He had no business in Red Onion at all. You know, 15 years old, no business there at all. So the whole judicial system has made some mistakes dealing with this young man. If he get him a good lawyer, even at this point, they would ship him out and prove that he had no business inside of a prison like Red Onion. Simple as that. The Red Onion was designed by a guy named Ron Angelone, who was chairman of the Virginia Department of Corrections at the time. Ron Angelone was very familiar with what was happening around the country with prisons like Red Onion. And so he built Red Onion and another prison called Waters Ridge. And they designed it and told the people in the state of Wise County, not the state, but the city of Wise, the county of Wise County in Virginia, that the inmates being sent to Red Onion were the worst of the worst. That was a lie, because there were plenty of inmates inside of Virginia prisons that had committed crimes that was equal or worse than the crime that Lamont had been accused of committing. So this man has been unjust dealt with his whole life dealing with this crime. He had no business in Red Onion, as simple as that. And then being sent outside of Red Onion to another state, that's wrong too. The whole system, the whole way they have treated this young man is an injustice.
So, Mr. Shaheed, the only way that this could have gotten resolved as far as him not being tried as an adult sent to Red Onion is if they had a good attorney.
Yeah, if he had a good attorney, he could have got away with it. This whole situation would have been different if he had a good attorney.
Okay, which is hard for us in our community, in our Black community. And I feel like, they make it like that for us anyways. They know we can't afford those high top dollar attorneys. And that's why we have PGT time, so that the story can get out there, so that it can climb to different platforms, so that once it get to that high platform, then that's when the attorneys that we can't afford feel sorry for us and say, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to help. But of course, we're talking about back in the 90s. Okay. We got to keep that in mind just as well. So thank you very much, Mr. Shaheed, for that.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Carlos.
I do have a question myself.
Oh,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question as well.
For Mr. Shaheed?
Did he have any priors to this?
No. Carlos said
No,
he had no priors
no,
at all.
no,
His
no,
first time ever
no
getting it.
prize. No,
Right. Because I mean,
no,
I
no
understand that this
juvenile
is in the
record.
'90s, right? I understand that this is in the '90s, and law is law. It doesn't change too much from there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just baffling to me because sharing my own experience as far as and with family members. I have a family member in Virginia right now that that committed the same type of crime. It's everything from gun charge, the malicious intent, like the whole night, everything that you've kind of listed off now. He has he had a juvenile, what do I want to call it, a juvenile record, but it was all expunged just due to what I'm saying, time and whatever the case may be. So he basically went into this with the same clean record as Lamont did, and he's only getting 5 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And he already did two and a
Mhm.
half in jail, and now he's gonna finish the other half in the prison. And we don't know where he's going. But so in my mind, I'm like, it's baffling how the court systems and everything could push this young man through with all of the, like, with everything that was happening. So they were trying to place it on someone is what I'm starting to feel. And have you heard anything from like the prosecution to where they're that they were trying to like really pin this on him for any particular reason?
Well, they did mention that they were going to make an example out of him, and he was an out of towner, and they were going to show what they do to out of towners. Um, and so this is one of the reasons why we thought they were so harsh on him. Another was because we felt like Lamont was new there. He didn't know what to say, what to do, so he didn't do anything or say anything.
That
And
makes
so I
sense.
guess by him not doing such, and the others were giving their statements, they felt like, okay, well, we're going to be hard on this guy for the reasons of him not either eating or, uh, like I mentioned, he was an out of town, and they're going to show out of towners what Virginia will do. And so this is
That's crazy.
the
Yeah,
time
that's
that we got
that's
now.
so
Yeah.
how often have you guys, since the time that Lamont has been in prison, how many times have you tried to, rebuke this, like go against it or get it changed or have it looked in front of new judges? Because I know within that time frame
Well,
there had to be at least
we
one or two new judges.
yes, and no judge would step in and correct it. We have filed appeal after appeal since that time, and we have exhausted a lot of appeals. But then we have to come back with new information or new evidence to raise the same issue about jurisdiction. What jurisdiction did the circuit court have over a juvenile when he should have been in a juvenile? And that's the reason why these three judges, Judge Baker, Judge Benton, and Judge Brady, uh, overturned his conviction because they tried him as an adult when the crime should have been a juvenile. And that was in 1994. And when it went back in front of the Fairfax County judicial system, the judge uh, resentenced him to the same time, the exact same time. So you would say, well, if the appeals court reversed it, How could the Virginia uh, Circuit Court come back and redo the same thing? And that's where we have the issue because there's no checks and balances when it comes to us. That they'll set it aside, bring in a visiting judge to resentence them, and that's what happened in this case.
Oh,
There was an outside judge that was visiting that resentenced him, um, but uh, the prosecutor is the one that kept pushing the issue for the same amount of time.
mm.
And
So when it,
still yet,
so go ahead.
we're still yet in court right now today, uh,
Today, okay,
fighting issues on jurisdiction.
gotcha. Now, when you were making a statement to having to have like new evidence and things of that nature to kind of get your point across, were you able to provide that kind of information to them even with it being this far along and not being able to like drum up or get anything or even have one of the other gentlemen that or people that was involved kind of come to a different testament at all?
No, it's basically in the court records from the first trial. It's where the court lacked jurisdiction,
Mm,
but overlook it or they whitewash it, so to speak, and says, well, we still have a crime here, whether or not the court erred or whether the court uh, did illegal illegal jurisdiction warrant, then we're still going to pursue it. And so that's that's um, where we at. Um, and Lamont is not the only one. There's several uh, inmates that we ran across that Virginia has done that too.
mm,
And yes, we have a person by the name of Darwin Osborne. We have one named Rashid Johnson. We have another one named James. Um, I want to say Baker, but it's not Baker. But all of these guys fell or were sentenced out of Virginia under the same type of circumstance,
And
lack of jurisdiction.
Darwin and his family will be on the show next week, Jason, just as well.
understood.
So they will be on next week, next Wednesday, to tell their story, just as well. Now we also have Lamont's aunt on the phone just as well. Felicia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Jason, are you guys able to hear her?
Yeah.
Okay. Felicia, tell us a little bit about how you feel about the situation as his aunt.
Well, I feel strongly that he got railroaded from a lot of different angles. From uh, the people he was visiting with, and through the police department, their detectives, and the prosecutor and the judge. So there's no way that he should have been in a supermax prison, locked up 23 hours a day,
Right.
only get an hour, to come out of his cell block. So it was really devastating to see how they had just stole his life like that, and then away from his family. It was really traumatic. I don't want to be emotional about it, but it was really traumatic, and it's still we're still living that trauma.
Right.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
so I think that really, uh, they really need to look at take a closer look at Red Onion State Prison, as well as these other state prisons. You know, they're like the judge and jury. You know, and it just should not be that way. Legislation, the police department, the Department of Justice, all of those people are well aware of, you know, the status of Red Onion State Prison, how they operate, their policy is to strip, you know, people from all forms of humanity and dignity, and you know, the staff will not elaborate, but they will make these statements themselves as to the character of Red Onion. There is no form of rehabilitation there. It's just hardcore time, you know. And but of course, being in Virginia, they have that privileged attitude, and a lot of the correctional officers, they're young, and there was a few that was just maybe about 5 years older than Lamont, 18, 19, 20 years old, 21, and you know, whenever they go to his cell block, there was confrontation.
And we were going to get into that. We definitely I said we were definitely going to get into that. I want Carlos to speak on that. Carlos, tell us some of the challenges that he was facing while he was in general population with these adults at the age of 15.
Lamont was hardly ever in general population.
Okay.
Lamont was sent to Red Onion and went from segregation to Supermax lockdown. So what I mean by that, ad sig, they got levels. They got ad sigs, segregation, and then total lockdown. And total lockdown is 23 hours a day, 1 hour exercise and shower. Ad sig, you get maybe a few extra hours out a couple of times a week. So Lamont was immediately sent to Red Onion and spent most of his time there, every bit of 15 years, either in ad sig or segregation, Supermax. Sometimes he was in total lockdown. We would find that out through his letters, you know, saying that he went from one status to the next, and he had spent the 6 months, a year, 3 years, things like that. He was never given like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. It was like 6 months, a year. So he found himself to be comfortable being in lockdown, and he started doing a lot of reading and getting in touch with his self or his inner self and studying. And so he learned a little Spanish and other languages, and he started studying the law as well. And he sort of taught himself. Now, in Supermax, you don't go to any type of program such as the programs that they offer for rehab, because there's no such thing as rehabilitation in a supermax prison. It's all about control, dominating, and trying to destroy uh, the man's ability to be a man, you know, and to correct himself from his mistake. So he learned a lot being in segregation, and right now he's studying law.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest issues that we are here tonight for is because now, okay, so he spent, let's say, what, 25 years at Red Onion?
I would say a good bit of 20 years.
Okay. Then Red Onion decided to send him to New Jersey prison, correct?
Well, that's another story. After he started learning how to legally attack or defend himself with what was going on in Red Onion, they decided to transfer him because he was building up. Um, um, I would hate to use the word cases. He was building up a a profile on Red Onion as to way Red Onion uh, carries out their rules and regulations. And so he documented a lot. He sent me a lot of documents on Red Onion, what they do on weekends, how on Friday nights they would have fun, so to speak, come down to your cell, uh, want to strip search for no reason at all, and to this is a form of harassment. And so the guys knew it. So he kept a log on that. And before he presented it as a case, I think, my opinion, they decided to transfer him
Okay. Okay. Now,
because he has started,
go ahead.
yes, he has started to learn to keep a, a, a log on them and send it out so someone else would have it in case something were to happen. We would have it.
Exactly. Because he was
So,
being attacked, correct?
pardon me.
He was being attacked by the CO.
Um, yes, on different levels. Like I say, they do it through searching, strip searching. Come out of your cell. We think you have something. Um, want to check for contraband. This is the way to get in to start the harassment. And then in turn, they feel like, okay, um, this guy is not cooperating. We're going to do A, B, or C. We're either going to tackle him or we're going to try to rough him up. And so this is how these things happen. It's not as if Lamont is let out and he just goes wild or he just attacks a person. There's a reason. And see, a man can only take so much.
Exactly.
And a man is going to be a man. So um, if he's there in one spot and he continuously getting write-ups, every so often you have to ask yourself, why? How is this person in his own dormitory is getting these write-ups? And the only time he gets them is when these officers come. And if you look at the timetables, and you would see it's 10:30 at night, uh, 6:30 in the morning, things like that.
Okay. So they transferred him to Jersey. How Did that change him in any type of way by him going to a different environment?
I don't think it changed him. I thought it changed the outlook on what this other institution was seeing versus what Red Onion was profiling him as. Um, Once he was transferred to this new Jersey prison, they could not classify him. And the reason that was said, uh, they couldn't classify him was because of his institutional record wasn't aligning with the way he was uh, alleged carrying himself in that new institution. So they said it took a year to go through classification. They had to watch him a year to be classified because what was in his Red Onion profile didn't match the person that was sent to New Jersey. And they had to watch him a lot longer because they thought he was either putting on a facade or he was hiding the real Lamont. And so after a year, they decided, well, we're just going to classify him as the way we seen him perform um, in the new institution. And they classified him and gave him general population. And so once in general population, um, I guess he went from there to gaining some type of status of work program. And then after doing his work program, I guess he eventually got a job in the institution as well as starting a program of his own. And so he's done pretty well at that other institution, which is Trenton State Prison.
Now he has done very well for himself over there in Jersey. He's now, is he a trustee
Yeah,
over there?
yeah, he was classified, and they dropped uh, his level class down to trustee status. Um, and he's moves about without any security, any guards. Um, he's able to, I would say, go out on the yard, so to speak, uh, uh, without uh, security,
Wow,
being a
Jason, hit that
trustee.
hand clap. Hit that hand clap, Jason. You know, he came, did what he was supposed to do, and they was ready to parole him. Correct, Carlos?
Uh, I, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said they was. I said he
Go.
came, he did what he was supposed to do, and there was ready to parole him. Correct.
Well, that's another issue. Lamont, as far as New Jersey
Yes.
goes, New Jersey has stated Lamont has completed the requirements that New Jersey requests, and they have no holds to hold him for. They don't see any reason why he should be held any longer. Um, but they're not the ones to make that decision because he is a Virginia. Uh, he was a Virginia uh, 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 person that was sent from Virginia, and they still hold the so to speak, the rights over this inmate. So
Mm.
They transferred him. They transferred him to another state to go by their guidelines and to go by their rules. But they hold the sort of keys over his head to say, well, we still have to parole you. You still have to be paroled from Virginia. And so, whether what state you go to, you still have to go by Virginia's guidelines because you were convicted out of Virginia. That's the catch 22 that he is under right now.
Okay. Now, Mr. Shaheed, how is that possible that they can do that to him, being that he is there at New Jersey? You would think that New Jersey rule stands.
Yeah, that's what we would think, common sense, but they call it interstate compact law.
Can you explain a little bit?
Interstate compact.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Okay, Felicia wants to know, can you explain that?
Yeah, well, they send you to another state without your authority, without you having anything to do with it. They come to your cell one night, 3 o'clock in the morning, tell you pack it up. Pack it up for what? Get up out of here. Ship you anywhere in the country. And they have a director here named Harold Clark, who is a black man from out of the Virgin Islands. Very intelligent. He can ship inmates to different states because he's aware of wardens in prisons in different states who he knows personally. And he'll ship you out of here and you go to another state, Colorado, Indiana, North Carolina, anywhere in the country. And
what I'm trying to understand is, you say it's the state impact. I don't know all of that what you said, but what I'm trying to get you to articulate is, because it seems like a loophole to me, where they can have leverage to hold people. So if you're going to send an inmate to relocate him to another region or even out of state, then how can you still have authority over whether someone is paroled or not?
I agree.
I mean, that doesn't, you just can't have it all of your way.
yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can have it all your way because it's written up like that. It's in the contract. It's written.
This is why they have the fix like this, so they can keep men and women and youth locked up. There is. I need to look that up and find out what the real explanation of that is, because I believe they have broken the law with many inmates with this specific concern right here, by sending inmates to another penitentiary, whether it's within the same state or out of state. If you release that individual, you no longer have the jurisdiction to dictate whether he is paroled or not.
I agree.
Well, I like to share something.
It has nothing to do with parole because most states don't have parole. The question is, do they have jurisdiction over you?
Is that they, even though the crime happened in one state, if that state transfers the inmate the inmate needs to follow the laws that where he is being sent to. If they gave the inmate up, they released their jurisdiction. If you have to give up that authority. What you're saying
That's
is send him to another state is that we can't handle him or we don't have the capacity to rehabilitate or whatever term they want to use. This is a legal loophole for them to use to keep people locked up. And the Department of Justice, the state representative for the state of Virginia, all of these different people know that within the congressional legislative law body, they know these things. And they know how Virginia Red Onion, they know how they operate. They know how much conflict people have made complaints about, and nobody cares enough to look into these situations and actually do something about it. So everybody is turning a deaf ear and a blind eye to the conduct of Red Onion State Prison's policies and procedures, and also what their motto is.
Exactly.
I don't have the proper word to call it, but anytime you gotta strip people of their humanity,
And I think Mr. Shaheed agrees with you 100%. But he's just telling us this is how the law works. Am I right, Mr. Shaheed?
Yes, you dead right. You dead right. Yes, ma'am. I know you dead right. I definitely agree with you. Ain't no doubt about that. We're on the same page.
well. I like
But
to
matter of
share
fact, it's
something.
not, and it doesn't have anything to do with Red Onion, because they would ship you out from any prison that you in Virginia. They can ship you from that prison to another state. So whether or not you in Red Onion don't make no difference.
Okay,
Well,
so
I like to share this.
go
I like
ahead.
to share this. I do. Whether you sign the interstate compact or not, it's like Shaheed said. They tell you where you are going or don't tell you. You just know when you get there. And the interstate compact transfer application actually double talks itself. If you actually sit down and read it, it states that the inmate in custody that's being transferred will abide by all the governed rules of the transferring state and as well of the state he's being sent from. Now that right there is a conflict because
That's right.
certain states have different rules. And you can't go by the state of New Jersey and the state of Virginia because it simply says, state of New Jersey says, well, this person is ready for society. And then Virginia says, oh, no, but we still have the authority over him. But you're not evaluating this inmate because he's not in your custody. He's in the custody of New Jersey, which is monitoring him daily. So it says the offender must complete the sending state's requirements. So how does he complete the sending state, which is Virginia, requirements if he's not given requirements? And the only requirements that he has is the one that he's in, and that's the state of New Jersey. So when New Jersey is pleased with his status, then he falls back to Virginia, and Virginia says, "Oh well, now you come back to us, and we have a different program for you." So it's a double standard. So
That's
it's
right.
like Felicia says. It's like Felicia says. It's written by our Senate and passed by Congress and things like that. So they know it's it's uh, it's a no-win situation, and
Yeah.
so that's why you could jump and raise all the issues. It falls on deaf ears because the person that or the people that wrote it are not going to adhere to it
Right.
because it's big money in prisons, and it's about making money. It's not about whether a person is ready to be reintegrated back into society. They looking at, well, as far as we're concerned, this person has 30 years, and we're going to make sure he's going to do 30 years. This other person has 90 years. We're going to make sure he does 90 years, whether we transfer him or not. Now, if in fact he goes back to Virginia, we have to start all over. That's why we're saying there's a jurisdictional issue, and
Exactly.
it
The only way
it's
you attack
it's
that issue will be a good lawyer.
That's what I was going to ask you, Mr. Shaheed. In the beginning, when we started this show, you mentioned that in the beginning now, you mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
when Lamont was 15, 16, 17, whatever, if they had a lawyer, a big time lawyer, all this would not have even occurred. What do
Or
they
he
need
wouldn't done be.
at this point now?
He
Will
would not
they
be.
need help?
If he had a good lawyer, he would not be in a situation he's in right now. Simple as that. And
Simple as
matter of fact, even at this point, if he had a good lawyer, he could get out of the situation he's in right now. Because the lawyer contests the interstate compact law, which has him in New Jersey, but not under New Jersey law.
Okay.
So, and lawyers are hard to get. Simple as that, because you got to have some money to have a good lawyer. You ain't got no money, you can get a good lawyer. And even though lawyers are obligated to spend some time of their practice to do pro bono cases, meaning they do a case for no money. Most lawyers don't do that. Simple as that. So Lamont is in a situation a lot of inmates are in the prison system across this country. And we talk about Virginia, man, look at here. I've been doing this work for a while, and I have not ran across lawyers that are willing to take cases dealing with such situations like this. They just don't do it. It's simple as that. They just don't do it because it costs money for lawyers to travel from Virginia to New Jersey, back to Virginia, etc. And lawyers don't want us to do that stuff for free. It's simple as that.
Okay, now
and
you're talking about travel.
Well, that's just one part of it. You got paperwork you got to do. You got all kind of stuff you got to do. And lawyers don't want to spend that time doing it for free. It's simple as whether you're traveling or you're in the same state, it don't make no difference. They don't want to spend the money. They don't want to spend the time to do work free. And when you run across a lawyer who would take a case, you run across a good man, who's willing to help an individual like Lamont. And most lawyers don't want to do it. Simple as that.
Okay. Now, I see Mama Peach in the building. Hey, Mama Peach. She wants to know, do the family have a lawyer for Lamont? Have they ever had a family for Lamont?
Oh, yes, several lawyers.
Okay.
Several lawyers.
He did have several lawyers.
We went through several lawyers, and they all go to they talk a good talk, and then when we start to get the brass knuckles and you start bringing in PowerPoints that we want them to attack, they try to persuade you to a different outlook or a different
Strategy.
way of doing it. And their strategy all turns out to be um, nothing, because they're sending you around the bush, or so to speak, uh, and they're just taking your money. And now that we've learned just to stay with the confines of what the court has done, and the jurisdiction, and the indictment, and the way it was written, because they made a lot of flaws, made a lot of mistakes, but they overlooked that. But that's what you need to attack. It's
Okay.
all the other stuff is sidebar.
Okay. Now, right now, we got a comment on the screen from my husband. Hi, Pooley. I love you, baby. But anyway, now, Pooley said something that to me speaks volumes. And let me tell you why I say it speaks volumes. I'm not a big fan of GoFundMe. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not a big fan of GoFundMe because I feel like people abuse GoFundMes. I remember a young lady had a PPP loan. The PPP loan, they came back looking for her, wanted her their money, and she went and got a GoFundMe to try to see if she could raise the money back that she spent. But she wanted us to raise the money for her so that she won't get in trouble. So after that, I was like, I don't like GoFundMes. I'm not for it. But in a situation like this, GoFundMe is definitely needed. So my question to you, Mr. Shaheed, let's say we did get a GoFundMe going, okay? We was able to raise money. Should we try to find the lawyer first and then put up the GoFundMe?
Yeah, there are a couple of organizations that I would recommend you contact before you even talk to a lawyer. A couple of organizations in Virginia. I'm sorry, one of them in DC. Matter of fact, they called Right Behind Bars. These boys are lawyers, and they do extremely good work. Right Behind Bars. You can look them up on the.
I just typed it in so I could go and look at it as soon as we finish.
Yeah. Right Behind Bars. They're an organization made up of lawyers, but they run a non-profit agency made up of lawyers. They work with inmates, and they are extremely good. I'm talking about extremely good. And they're so good they take cases off. There's another organization called the ACLU. And I know most people listen to this broadcast. You probably heard of the ACLU. ACLU just filed a case in Virginia dealing with solitary confinement. That's where they keep an inmate locked up all day long. It's called solitary confinement. Virginia said when the ACLU filed a suit against Virginia, Virginia said we don't have solitary confinement. It's a lie. They have solitary confinement, but they don't call it solitary confinement. Call it something else. So the guy who was talking that talk, real slick talk, he's a warden of Virginia prison. Virginia, not the warden, but the director of Virginia prison, Harold Clark. He said he don't have solitary confinement. The judge went along with the ACLU. His name is James Jones. He just awarded Virginia, the ACLU an award for that case. And so they have come against Virginia's solitary confinement and won these cases. And they got to settle some stuff in Virginia right now. That's a good organization to contact for somebody like Lamont. Good organization. And if you can get talk to somebody in that organization to help them work with Lamont, they'll tell you the best lawyers to deal with and whether or not whether or not to contact the lawyer first or work with them first and see would they refer you to a lawyer that will help deal with. Okay, Lamont's case situation, like a lot of inmates, I have not found a lawyer that's willing to attack the interstate compact law that sends an inmate to another state and then keep the jurisdiction over top of the inmate, even though he's in another state. You know, so you got to have a lawyer. You got a good lawyer can attack. In a situation like Lamont, you know, I mean, he's in a whole nother state and doing very well. You know, he's like other inmates. Inmates get sent from red light to another state and practice the institutional law. They do very well because they're not in a facility like red light. You know, and so it's very different. And so, yes, contacting a lawyer may not be a good position first, but finding out from talking to these organizations I mentioned, the right behind bars, they know lawyers and they are lawyers themselves, so they can tell you whether or not to contact a lawyer, etc.
Okay. So let's get into a commercial break right quick, and we'll be right back, you guys. We'll be right back.
Peachy Tea Time is for the culture. Tune in every Friday for Peachy Talks edition, where the misses and pulleys show crime in our black community and discuss love and relationships. Special surprise pop-up guests. Tune in each and every Friday. Check out the flyer for showtimes.
Hey y'all, it's your girl, the missus with the kisses, baby. Mwah. Thank y'all so much for joining me and Jason tonight. Thank you. And if we got a special guest, thank you, special guest. I thank you for coming, sharing your story. But y'all make sure y'all watch us each and every Wednesday, okay? Each and every Wednesday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Where you said? You said where? Roku TV, Facebook, YouTube, and also Twitch, baby. Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Peachy Tea Time spelled with a Y. And make sure you also follow me on all the other platforms just as well. Thank you so much for joining us each and every Wednesday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Back to the show we go, baby. We going back. Bye. All right. So when we just left before we went on our commercial break, Mr. Shaheed was basically saying that if we did get a GoFundMe going, that we can, get a lawyer. But we need to find a lawyer that will take this case. Because to us right now, it's a no-brainer. You would think anybody would want to take this case at this point. Because it's a no-brainer. We know that this is wrong. And Mr. Shaheed, I can't help but to keep going back to you with this because you're specialized in stuff like this. Being that it's a no-brainer to us, why is it so hard for it to get through to the judicial system? Why they?
Oh, look, you again, you're talking about a lawyer. You're talking about money. It's simple as that. So it's not hard to get through to them. They talk about money. When you start looking for a lawyer, you got to have some money. It's simple as that. And then when you got the money, you got to talk to the right lawyer. You know what you're talking about. It's because a lot of lawyers have taken money from parents, and you find this out when you start dealing with organizations like mine, others with inmates. A lot of lawyers have taken money from parents, from loved ones, and have not produced the outcome that they need to produce. And it's simply because the people who are getting lawyers don't really know what to talk to them about. So it's a touchy situation. And I think, again, I recommend Rights Behind Bars, because this is a nonprofit agency that's made up of lawyers. You got a young Jewish boy, he was real smart, named Samuel Weiss. He runs Rights Behind Bars, but he has a staff of lawyers that work with him. And they have a nonprofit agency, and they work out of D.C., and they work all over the country, And hey, he's done some work for me in Virginia, So, and then you have ACLU, another organization that works with inmates who can recommend good lawyers.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do at this point, Carlos. I'm gonna go ahead and with the help of Jason, we're gonna go ahead and this is one of those cases we're gonna go over and beyond. We don't go over and beyond for all cases, unfortunately, because we have so many families that come on the show. We have a lot of families. So there are certain families that we do go over and beyond to help. And this is going to be one of them. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Rights. I put it in the comments. Rights Behind Bars. Yep, I'm going to reach out to them, see what they can do. I'm also going to reach out to some people here in Georgia just as well as attorneys that I can find. And Jason, I would ask you to do the same over there in Minnesota where you are. And I think what I would like to do is have them talk to Mr. Shaheed first before paying any money, before doing any GoFundMe, any of that. Because Mr. Shaheed, you seem like if they gonna be up to no good or they gonna be
all right.
Good. So
yeah, I'm ready to talk to anybody. Yeah, okay. I'll help the situation, no problem.
All right, so that's what we're going to do. Let me see. Mama Peach got something else to say. She said, "What about trying to get in touch with the Innocence Project?"
We went through those.
I think we already tried.
We went through those, but let me share this. I think with the paperwork that we have already produced and sent, or putting off, or set back, or continuous, and if we can get enough people behind that and push that documents, forcing the courts to either make a ruling or hear the issues, then we would have something. Of course, the paperwork that has been submitted, the courts keep for the third or fourth time, keep setting this matter aside, or keep continuing it, or it's going to be heard, and at the last moment, oh no, it's not going to be. So we've been going through this since February, and here it is. It's May, soon to be June, and they will not hear the issues that we have. Of course, it's coming from a person that is self-taught, and he has no backing. So if we do have enough people to stand up, stand out, and say we need these issues to be ruled on, to be heard, I think we have something. And that's another thing. The lawyers that we have hired previously, they all seem to say, oh, let's try this angle, or let's try that angle. And they just taking us in a big circle, knowing that it's not going to get anywhere. And we have to attack the jurisdiction, their authority. Once a judge or the appeal courts have rejected a court's errors, then that court should honor those appeal courts.
Okay, so do we have to have an attorney to do what you're saying, Carlos?
That would be the prime thing, but finding one that will stand up.
Exactly.
It's finding one that will stand up, and meaning if he stands up, then will he have a job after defending the case? Will is will he be able to make a living after defending this case? We've heard attorneys say that. Oh, I don't want to touch this case. I have to live here. Meaning,
Okay.
So we need to turn it don't live there.
Shaheed, can you turn your phone down a little?
Turn my phone down.
Yeah, because we can hear ourselves echoing. Okay, so that's where we are right now, y'all. We need to, would a petition help? I think I'm saying the right word, Jason.
you're saying the exact right words. A petition would help. That means you have a volume of people that's concerned about this one issue. And we want to know what our political people or our people that's over these judges could say, hey, if you don't hear this case out, then we won't be electing you.
Yes. Okay, so Justin, where do you feel like we start right now? Oh, go ahead, Carlos.
A petition would be much greater than a GoFundMe.
Okay.
Because you have people standing up. It's just like I hate to bring this up, but it's just like the George Floyd. If people wasn't standing up and standing out and saying we want justice, we seen it with our own eyes. They tried to sweep it under the rug, but they had to come forth.
Yep.
And that's with a lot of other cases that we've seen videotaped.
Exactly. And that's one thing I always tell my viewers, my peaches and Mr. Peaches that watches the show, that's riding with me, been riding with me since day one. We speak volumes. If we keep pushing these stories, somebody will hear it. I always tell y'all, when you get to see in, then they don't have a choice but to go with it. Go ahead, Mr. Shaheed.
And so you put the people on the news. These people that keep turning down Lamont's case, put them on the news. Invite them into the program to explain why come Lamont's keep going to the same court and court turn them down. Make them tell the public. And then we have the public, the people who follow you to listen to this case, and bring the people on put them on front street, make them explain, make the prosecutor, whoever he is, state legislators in the town that is in, state legislators in Virginia, put them online, put them on front street, make them explain why this young man is still doing time in New Jersey and he's from Virginia. Put him on the program. Make him explain to the public.
Exactly.
And it's not only this one, it's several. Like we mentioned, they send them all over. So Lamont is the one right now that we're speaking about, but they doing this to hundreds of inmates. And we don't hear about those.
Osborne, we're gonna talk about that. Another cold case.
Exactly. Well, we are about to go ahead and we are at the end of the show. So I want to say thank you so much to Mr. Shaheed for coming on here today. I want to say thank you to Felicia for coming on here tonight as well, and also Carlos. But before we
appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. So welcome. Before we go, I always let the parent end the show for us. So I'm going to tell you what I want you to say. But before we do that, Mr. Shaheed, is there anything you want to say before we leave tonight?
No, I'm available. Anybody needing help, I'm around. Again, all inmates lives matter. My nonprofit agency that I run in Virginia. My phone number 540-309-2473. And this is what I do. I love to do this kind of work. So I'm right here.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Shaheed. Please do not leave until I end the broadcast because I want to talk to you all before we leave. Felicia, is there anything you would like to say before we end this broadcast?
I would like to say, where do we start the petition at? Do we start it in Virginia? Do we start it in New Jersey? Do we just start it?
We're just gonna start it. Yeah, we're just gonna start it. What I'm going to do is have someone type up something for us. I already have the right person in mind. Once they type it up, I'm going to post it to my page. Not only will I post it to my page, I want y'all to listen closely. I will be sharing it. I will be sending it to people messengers so that you can sign it. I will be sending it to my IG page. Jason will be doing the same. So we're going to get a lot of signatures. Okay? You all have heard this story. I want you to share this story. I'm going to send this story in your page, in your messenger. You're going to get this whole show in your messenger because I want nobody to be like, what is this? What is the missus sending me? I'm going to send everything. And I want you to sign it. Once it gets signed, Jason's going to do his side. I'm going to do my side. Once everything gets signed, we're going to put them all together. I'm going to contact Carlos. I'm going to contact Mr. Shaheed to see what's the next step from here. And we're going to go from there. If a GoFundMe is needed, I'm going to contact behind bars just as well. We're going to try with them. If there's nothing they can do, then that's where we're going to go ahead with the GoFundMe and try to contact attorneys.
Okay.
Okay. So,
yes, ma'am.
I really, really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. Jason, is there anything that you would like to say before I hand it over to Carlos?
No, none at all. Sign that sheet, man. Sign it when we get it to you.
That's all that need to be said. Sign it. Y'all done heard the story. Sign it. Now, I asked y'all to share the videos all the time. I asked y'all to subscribe. I asked y'all to hit the like button. I asked y'all to do all that. If you don't do it, I still don't complain. But guess what? I'm going to complain this time. Because all you got to do is put your signature down. It's not hard. You all know that this is not right. You know this is wrong. Nobody died. This man should not be in there for no doggone 30 plus years. He should not be in there for 90 years. So I need y'all to sign this petition. If it goes to the point where we have to get a GoFundMe, I need you to donate to the GoFundMe. $1, $2, $10, $5, $20, $100, $500, whatever the Lord set in your mind to give. That's what we need. Shout out to God. Shout out to God. I ain't got my I can't hit my applause button. But shout out to God. We're not going to stop. This is one story that is not going to stop. We are going to keep going until Lamont gets home. Flat out. Because he shouldn't be there. Especially for no doggone 90 years. He should not be in there. So with that being said, I love you all so much. I will see y'all on Friday. And Carlos, there's only one thing that I want you to do. And I'm going to pull everybody down. Again, please do not leave, Mr. Shaheed, until I end the broadcast, because I just want to talk to you for a hot second. Jason, I'm going to pull you down. Carlos, it's just me and you up here. I'm going to pull myself down in a second. This is what I want you to do. If Lamont was listening right now, if he is listening right now as we speak, what do you want to say to your son right now?
Well, of course, I would say, Lamont, we love you, and we're going to do everything that we can to see that you get your freedom, and we're working on it. Cases that you have filed is perfect cases. They don't want it to be heard in court, but we're going to push it with these petitions. Hopefully, people get behind us, and you'll see your day in court, and freedom will be. I love you. I've always been there, and continually with and the fight goes on until you're here. So with that, that'll be it.
Thank you for